guys, so I thought I would talk about this. This is a very rare occurrence, but it did happen a while ago. Can a seller pull out of a deal if they are selling their home? So for sake of this example, let's say we have an offer with a 10% deposit, 90% bond. Deposit has been paid, purchaser has paid the deposit, bond has been granted, all costs have been paid. So transfer cost paid, transfer duties paid, bond cost paid, all clearance certificates have been issued, so we are ready to lodge at the deeds office basically. Can a seller then pull out? So let's say there's some earth shattering, it's out of their control, some sort of event that happens that's causing them to want to pull out. They can, via the attorneys, have an honest discussion with the purchasers, and by mutual consent, so the purchasers say, yes, we can cancel this transaction. Then there still would be claims for commission, claims for wasted costs from the conveyancer, and the purchaser, although they are mutually consenting to the transaction being cancelled, they can still claim damages. So let's say they've cancelled their lease agreement, they need to be out by the end of the month, so they basically have nowhere else to go because they were banking on transfer happening before the end of the month. They can then claim for damages, saying we now need to find a short-term rental for the next 3 to 4 months while we find another home. They can claim those damages from the seller. Now, let's say, for example, the buyer is not mutually consenting, so they do not want to cancel the deal. They can then take the seller to court, and they can claim a specific performance order, which basically means the court will then issue an order stating that the transaction must happen even without the seller's consent. So it's obviously a very rare occurrence that that this happens from the seller side, because normally we see it from the buyer side. But it's always good to know, if you are a seller, to make sure that you are very committed to this process before you go to the market. And once you get an offer, be sure that you're ready to sell. I know things can happen out of everyone's control, but for the most part, just be certain that you are wanting to sell your home, and because it's very difficult to pull out of